So official introductions. My name is Lee Cavazos Galvez, and I'm the principal at College and Career High School. On this call is also my assistant principal, Matt Kraus. He's just waving.
Hello.
He is going to be manning the chat while I do the presenting. So if things come up where you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. He will get to as many of them as he can. And then we'll have an opportunity for Q&A at the very end. So you're going to kind of do both, right? Do a little.
I was trying to mute everyone else, but I muted you. I apologize.
Where was I muted?
Just like the last sentence.
Okay. I just looked down. I was like, wait a second. Okay. So yeah, if you want to read through the chat so you can follow along with other people's questions, maybe that's going to answer a question that you had as well. I will tell you that sometimes in the chat, things get repeated several times, and it is really hard for Mr. Kraus to just answer every single one of them. So you might want to monitor chat a little bit as we go as well. So with that being said, I think we'll go ahead and start tonight's presentation, other than to congratulate you on truly winning the lottery. That's what we like to call
it. All right, I will go ahead and put the calendar up.
I like people's enthusiasm. Yeah, congratulations, people. You've won the lottery. So Mr. Kraus is presenting our 2024-2025 calendar, and this is hot off the press. I don't know how many of you were following APS's school board approval of calendars, but this just got approved 2 weeks ago. So this is brand new. Our students who are currently at school have not even seen this, but you guys will be seeing it here first. I want to make mention of the fact that we do not follow APS's traditional calendar, okay? Hopefully this isn't new information to you. Hopefully you were able to hear one of the presentations that we gave, whether it was an open house or via Mr. Kraus visiting middle schools, but we are by no means on the same calendar as APS. So we're gonna go over just the first semester, the fall semester right now, just so I can highlight some things to you. We will start August 12th. However, for you all as ninth graders, you will be coming in for 3 days during the week of the 5th through the 9th to do some pre-start to school, meaning you'll take the AccuPlacer exam, you'll have some presentations from your teachers. It's more like a jump start area of time. You'll also apply to CNM, and we'll walk you through all of that in those 3 days. But you're expected to be at school sometime during the 5th through the 9th. We haven't determined those dates in concrete just yet, but 3 of those days you'll be at school. And then school will officially start on the 12th. We have 1 day off. I'm sorry. Then we'll go into September where we will have the 2nd off. And then no other days off. October, we have 1 Friday off, which is October 11th. That represents our fall break, okay? So APS traditional calendar or other school districts may give you 2 or 3 days off for fall break. We have 1 day off. We really actually follow CNM's academic calendar. So if you're familiar with that at all, maybe that's where you'll see some similarities here. In November, another big highlight, we only have 2 days off for Thanksgiving. We only have the Thursday and Friday. So if you are currently an APS student and you're used to having that entire week off because of parent-teacher conferences and then Thanksgiving break, you no longer have that, okay? However, if you get to December, you will see something super, super specific here. You guys are actually going to be done on Friday, December 6th. And then you have the remainder of the month off. Now you're thinking to yourself, how are you going to pull that off? How do they get a whole entire month off? You're going to see it later on in the calendar. Okay. So no, we didn't get a week off for Thanksgiving, but you're getting a full 4 weeks off for Christmas break, winter break, excuse me. Then we get into January. You will be off the first 3 days of January and return on the 7th. So the 6th and the 9th, those in light blue represent the days that teachers are there, but students are not. So official start date will be January 7th. Then you'll also see that on January 13th, it's in yellow, which has also been represented earlier in the calendar, but this actually matters for you. That is the start of the CNM spring term, which is where you will start taking your very first college class. We're going to talk about the course pattern, course taking pattern and program in just a few minutes, but you will officially start your first college class in second semester of 9th grade. Okay, that's going to be super important. Then you'll see on January 20th, we're going to have the day off. And then look at the next 3 months. I want to highlight this because you will see that in no way, shape, or form is there a week off for spring break. We get 1 Friday off a month for each of February, March, and April. But what you don't necessarily know is that your last day of school is April 25th. Those days in pink are for, Mr. Kraus, can you tell me if pink is finals or if pink is?
It doesn't show on this.
I don't remember from this calendar, honestly.
CCHS in session, but no CNM.
Okay, so your last day will actually be April 30th. I'm sorry.
It's actually May 1st, Lee, because that Thursday's pink too.
Oh, okay. Okay. May 1st. And then last day of CCHS will be May 2nd. I apologize because we have finished in April the last 4 years, but we apparently had to go into May this year, and it could be for various reasons. But so May 2nd will be your last day of class. Then you'll get a 2-week break. And this is where that long winter break comes in, because on May 19th, you will begin summer term with CNM. All CCHS students are required to take summer term. And therefore, that's how we get away with the instruction. I don't want to say get away with. That's how we show the instructional days and minutes that are required by PED to meet graduation requirements, is that our students are getting those instructional days. If you've been following, again, the traditional calendar and the fight, they have this 1140 minutes that you have to hit, and this concept of 180 instructional days. Well, if you were to go through this calendar and count through those days, you'll see that our teachers work a contract of 170 days, and the students aren't in all of those days because we have teacher prep built in. So they're more like 160 days. But where we meet that requirement is in our extended day as well as in the summer term. So it is absolutely required of all CCHS students to take summer term. That's also in our partnership with CNM. And for using their building and their campus. So you can take summer term classes at any CNM location that you choose. If there's one closer to your home and there's an option there, you can do that. If you are successful in your first college class, and we consider successful an A or a B. So remember, you're going to be starting in spring term with your first college class. If you are successful in that class with either an A or a B, we'll give you an opportunity to take online classes in the summertime, which then would make travel potentially a possibility. And then, like I said, you can opt to take any CNM course at other campuses if there's one that happens to be closer to home. So Montoya campus, Westside campus, South Valley campus, or main campus. So there are options there for you. Is that all that you wanted to cover there, Mr. Kraus? Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's good. I do want to share that, if you guys know anyone that currently goes to CCHS, talk to them about the calendar. I know it's an adjustment for people not having the traditional summer break. But what I always ask the students, and they always tell me that they still feel like they get a summer. Your college classes will meet twice a week, and it's classes that you want to take. And I think our school has just like I don't know, for lack of a better term, a more chill Monday through Friday vibe. And so I think when you look at the entirety of the year, it doesn't really feel like kids burn out. At least that's what students have told me. But it is different, and it is something that people have to get used to. And if you're a teacher or, it's different for a variety of reasons, and it can make your schedule different from their students. So it is definitely something to consider. But I will tell you, we don't have students leave our school because of the schedule.
Which then segues us nicely into what we're going to talk about next, which is our bell schedule. Again, another hot topic from the district was this change in bell schedule this last year with that 8:40 start time. I will tell you, our bell schedule did not change, and we are the only school in the district that did not change. And that is because we have to give opportunity for our students, not necessarily you right now, because you're not going to think ninth grade at this point, but everybody else to take 2 college courses and 2 high school courses within the school day. And the only way to do that was to begin at 7:30 in the morning. So we have a 7:30 a.m. start time. And then our instructional day goes through 2:35. And then from 2:40 to 3:30, we have what's called advisory down at the bottom. That time is used for a variety of things. Bye-bye. Sorry, my kid's waving by. That time is used for a variety of things: club, extracurriculars, tutoring services, time on campus with teachers. So we call it office hours, which is outside of tutoring. But so that is there for the students if they need that support. But our instructional day does end at 2:35. So the expectation is that students are in classes from 7:30 to 2:35 every day, Monday through Friday. You'll also see that we don't have a block schedule. So the traditional high schools are still running a Monday, Wednesday, like a 1-3-5-7, and then a 2-4-6 with the skinny 1-2-4-6. Skinny's at the top. We do not do that. We called what's double block. So each of your classes are going to be 95 minutes long. And that is what your schedule is showing there at the top. The reason why we have an A and a B is basically around your half credit classes, which means that they only meet for 45-minute class periods instead of 95-minute class periods. So you will take, in the first semester, you will take New Mexico history, and that will switch off with comp skills. And then in the fall, you'll take health. That'll switch off with humanities. Well, your college class actually, but we'll go with that. So that's what the bell schedule is. So expectation 7:30 to 2:35 with 95-minute block classes. The next thing we're going to talk about is the course taking patterns. I want to be very, very clear, and this is not to say that if you've already done these things that you should be, that you should be worried or that it's going to be a problem. It's not normally, but we have a very prescribed course taking pattern, in which case we don't have a lot of flexibility for movement. So what you're looking at, I want you to only focus on that first block, which is ninth grade. It's a little bit small to see the ninth grade up there, but you can read the rest of it just fine. So you'll see fall term, spring term, and summer term. In the fall, every student will take English 9, STEM lab, PE, New Mexico history, and comm skills. Comm skills is simply an elective that we have created and put in program for your students. It will help prepare them to take their first college course in second semester. It will also introduce them to some Algebra 1 concepts as well as biology concepts, since they won't be getting those throughout the entire year. So something to really note here, we teach in the semester. So that's why we do the double block every single day, Monday through Friday. Your students will complete English 9 in the first semester of ninth grade. They will not have English 9 second semester in the spring. Okay? In the spring, every student will take Algebra 1 or geometry, depending on if you've completed Algebra 1 in 8th grade and have it on a high school transcript. Humanities lab, bio with lab, health, that includes CNM CPR, which is a 1-credit course that you will take with CNM, and CNM class, which is either going to be first year experience, so that's FYEX, or one of the survey courses, and there are 3 choices. One is like survey of technology, one's business, and one's health related. Then in the summer term, you are free to take anything that you'd like. Again, with a successful spring term in your first college class, success being defined as an A or a B, you will have opportunity to take an online course if you choose to. That would free up your schedule, maybe a little bit. However, we've obviously seen significant success rates in face-to-face classes, but you're allowed to take whatever you want. So we're not requiring you to take anything specific. If you want to take something for fun, like a theater class or a public speaking class, you certainly can do that. An art class, we do not at all micromanage what you take in the summer, but we do require you to take classes in the summer. Then just for your liking, parents, then you have 10th, 11th, and 12th grade there. Again, it's a very prescribed program, so we are limited in what we can offer. We do not offer any elective credit on our campus outside of 9th grade year. All elective credits that are earned for high school graduation, which there are 9 in total of, will all be earned at CNM. So what we are simply doing is teaching what they call the 4 core. So we have English, math, science, and social studies that we teach on our campus. Everything else is taken as a college course. We can move to program expectations there, Mr. Krause.
Sure. Someone was asking, yeah, so you only get 1 month of break. So the summer term, just to be clear, because I know this part's kind of difficult, there's a couple weeks where there's just no school at all. And then basically from like mid-May until August, you're just taking the college class at CNM. So there's no high school. The college class is 2 days a week for an hour and 15 minutes. And of course, there's the I lost my train of thought.
Well, I don't know what your train of thought was, but I will tell you that the only way to complete an associate's degree, which is our ultimate goal, right? Our vision and our mission is to dually graduate. Our goal is that kids earn a high school diploma and a college degree in 4 years. You're not getting a full 4 years because you're starting as a second semester 9th grader. And in order for you to have time to achieve an associate's degree by graduation, you have to take summer term.
I was going to say there's still homework within those college classes too. So it's like an hour and 15 minutes of actual class, or you can take online. Yeah. But it is a commitment, and that is how you get to the associate's degree. And again, I encourage you, if you know someone that goes to CCHS, to talk to them about that. When I go to middle schools, I often try to bring students with me, and that is something I talk about with them because I know it's a big commitment. Okay.
Just because I saw the bilingual seal question pop up on my screen, yes, we do offer bilingual seal. I will tell you, it's a true bilingual seal because those courses have to be taken at CNM. So they are college level courses they have to pass in order to earn the bilingual seal. But we do have it. Most of our students qualify for not only the district, but the state seal as well.
Okay.
And the last thing that we're going to end on is just going to be a little bit of kind of the big kickers that I definitely want everybody to be aware of. I by no means want to use this meeting as something that is going to scare you away from being accepted, but I do want to make it clear that there is really some high expectations of the students, not only academically, but maturity-wise. And that there's a commitment by you as the parents as well when we talk about the calendar, when we talk about the bell schedule, because there is no transportation at our school, and that's going to come down in just a minute as well. But ultimately, our vision and our expectations, or what we want for our students, is that they complete a high school diploma and a college degree or certificate, so program completion, while they're at CCHS. We have many, many students who go on to transfer to four-year institutions as sophomores. In fact, I just found out about one of our seniors who has gotten into Texas Tech, who will be going in as a second semester sophomore because they have honored so many credits. All in-state intuitions, except all the credits earned at CNM. Out-of-state institutions don't always take them at 100%, but we're finding, Mr. Krause and I have been finding recently that more and more institutions are accepting more and more of those college credits. So that's a really positive thing if you're thinking about college outside of the state. But all in-state institutions, New Mexico Tech, UNM, NMSU, all take every single credit earned at CNM. So we've talked about our calendar. And again, we don't follow the APS calendar. And I think we just kind of went more into detail about that with what Mr. Krause was saying and the expectation of summer school. Again, none of our kids really complain about summer term. I think a lot of them find it to be a lot easier because they're not managing high school classes at the same time. So for them, it's just like, oh yeah, it's just what we do. And then as you get into junior and senior year, and you can really see like how far you're into your program and when you're going to be completing a degree, then it really pushes them. Sometimes we have students who will take, 3 or 4 classes in the summer just because they want the degree. The cost. So CNM pays for all of your classes, so it will cost you nothing. And APS pays for your books. So where a normal college student would be paying for tuition as well as their books and materials for the class, APS takes care of books and materials, and CNM pays for the college tuition and registration fees. However, there are a couple of caveats. There are a couple programs that require you to have your own tools. So culinary arts is one of them. Welding is one of them. And those are just things like they require you to have steel toe boots, right? I'm talking not culinary arts, but welding. You would have to purchase those on your own in order to participate in that program. However, those are kind of few and far between and more towards the trades. If you're looking at an integrated studies associate's degree, then everything is for the most part covered by either CNM or APS. So we just kind of talked about that commitment. Again, the commitment being that you are here for 3 terms straight, but also parents. This is something that I want you to be aware of, because if your kid starts with us in the fall and then is like, this is too hard, I don't think I can do it. I really need you to understand that if you commit to our school, I need to have you for a full year, because we teach on the semester. So on half a year, transferring mid-year or out in the middle of a term is really, really difficult for you to move into another high school, a traditional high school, and be successful, right? Because if you're going to transfer your kid, let's say in December, to your home attendance high school, I'm just going to say Del Norte. Del Norte's been teaching their kids biology and algebra 1 since August. Your kid has not seen any biology or algebra 1. So you're going to throw them into that class in the middle of December. I can be quite frank with you. I don't think they're going to pass. I don't think they should be successful when they haven't seen any of the material. But then they're going to start second semester and they're going to be in semester 2 of that same subject because they don't teach on the semester. So making a commitment to CCHS really should be a year-long commitment at minimum. If your student completes an entire year with us, whether they loved it or hated it, they have the opportunity to have finished 8 credits. Okay. Only 6 are required in the traditional high school to be on track for graduation. So regardless, again, of whether your student enjoyed it or not, or decides to change their mind and go to a different school, they will actually be ahead rather than where their classmates are in terms of graduation credits. So CNM grades, so the next one is credits, grades, and transcripts. If you're not familiar with a high school transcript, again, there's a box that is going to be created. Every one of your students will have a high school transcript by the end of their fall term. That will include a box at the very bottom that shows the graduation requirements for every New Mexico high school. So everybody has the same credit breakdown, and ours is 25. So that includes your 4 years of English, your 4 years of math, your 4 years of social studies, as well as science. And those are all built into the transcript. And then you have your elective credits, and there are 9 of those to make up your 25 credits. What I will say is that dual credit, that's what we call our program, which is where you're earning college credits and high school credits at the same time. So dual credit is high risk and high reward. All of your CNM grades will show on your high school transcript. Okay, that's why we like to talk about success in a college class being an A, B, or C, because those ultimately affect your GPA. So you will have a CNM transcript at the end of your freshman year, and you'll have a high school transcript. Every grade that is earned at CNM will be represented on your CNM transcript, but every single one of those grades will also be represented on your high school transcript. So in total, at the end, you should have 25 credits at minimum, and that's to earn your high school diploma. If you are earning an associate's degree, I will tell you that credit number is more like 30 or so. So in college, credits are 3 credits at a time. So one class equals 3 credits. In high school, they just still show 1-to-1. So in order to earn an associate's degree, you're looking at 65 to 70 credits. And all of those would show as a 1 credit option on your high school transcript. And then those 10, like I said, that are going to be elective credits will show as separate. Extracurricular activities. So we do have students who participate in extracurricular activities. We don't offer them at our school. So we don't have a football team or a basketball team, but those who want to participate in those do so at their home attendance high school. You would simply talk to your athletic director or your registrar there and get in touch with them. What I will tell you, you need to be mindful of is our bell schedule is different than theirs. Sometimes that works as a benefit and sometimes it doesn't, depending on when they have their scheduled sports class in their day. College culture. This is where I talked a little bit about the maturity, or I hit on, we do have very high expectations of our students, not just academically, but like I said, in maturity. We want to make sure that you understand we are on a college campus, and this can be a little bit scary for parents for sure. And I understand that. We are housed entirely in one building on main campus, which is the EC building. It's in center field of Isotopes Park. All 9th grade students stay in there all day long, so there isn't much movement for them, well, except for to walk to the field for PE. But they're in a pretty secure area. However, it is a college campus and the building is open. We share it with 2 other entities, one of which is NACA, the Native American Community Academy, so another high school. And that 3rd entity is CNM's college and education program. So they're going to be upstairs on the 3rd floor. So there are college classes that take place during the day in that building, and therefore there are adult learners on campus occasionally throughout the day. But there aren't custodians like you would see at a normal high school. There aren't people who clean up and watch after your students at all times. That is their responsibility. And that's our expectation, is that they carry themselves as an adult, that they pick up after themselves. So at the end of lunch, everybody's expected to clean up after themselves. Myself and Mr. Kraus are always making ourselves visible as our staff members, and it's a pretty small area, so it's not that big of a deal, but there are not custodians who are cleaning up after your students. So that's a big piece that I think is important for them to know, that the expectation is that they carry themselves as an adult as they are on a college campus with people who pay tuition to be there. Specialized education. So we don't have any specialized education by means of honors courses or any of the programmed special ed classes. We have just gen ed at our school. Doesn't mean that if your student has an IEP that they are not welcome or wouldn't be successful at our school. It just means we need to have additional conversations about what we can accommodate and what really is maybe out of our reach in terms of accommodations. But everything is gen ed level. We have a CNM academic coach on our campus. So I have a CNM full-time employee who sits in our front office and works with only our students throughout the year. She will do any academic advisements. She does all the registration for students, and she will meet with your student 3 times a year once they start their college coursework. But she is the end all and be all for us as far as CNM material goes. Transportation, parking, and food services. So transportation is not available for your students. There are no bus services. So parents, again, this is a commitment by you to make sure that you can get your kid to school by 7:30 in the morning and that you can pick them up no later than 3:35 in the afternoon. Again, it is a college campus. That building is used for college coursework. After 3:30 p.m., it becomes a college building where all adult learners are taking place in that building. So we want students off campus by 3:35 and not on campus before 7 a.m. Food services, we do have hot food service served by APS Nutritional Services. He's there just for the lunch period breakfast and lunch period during the day, and then he's off campus afterwards. But all food is free, just like it is right now for all APS students, and that is there for your students and available. And I think that wraps it up. So we will open it up to Q&A if it hasn't already been taking place in the chat. Mr. Kraus, how do you think the chat's gone as far as Q&A?
Yeah, pretty good. I definitely got more questions last year, but I'm not complaining. I felt overwhelmed last year. But please, questions, let us know. I will just reiterate what Ms. Cavazos said, that this is a great school. We have a great staff, really good teachers. You know, if you guys have heard my presentation before, I've worked at 4 different high schools and 3 different school districts, and I've been around when I used to work for APS, the district office, and I visited schools. It's by far the best school I've been associated with. That said, it's very high expectations. We offer a ton of support, but you can't hide at our school. If students are struggling, the 9th grade academy lets us know, and they let us know these are so-and-so is not just, displaying habits that a college student should display, which happens. That's part of why we're coaching people up. But some students want to hide and not do a lot of work. We have a very prescribed curriculum, as Ms. Cavazos said. So we're different. I can sit here and say it's the best school I've ever worked at or seen. However, I will definitely say it's not for everyone. So I really think it's important to digest this information and talk it over and just make sure that this is what you want before you move forward. Because as I always say, we ask people to climb 2 mountains at the same time. And something Ms. Cavazos didn't share was, over 80% of our students the last 2 years have graduated with a college degree. And so what we're doing is working. We keep the vast majority of our students from cohort to cohort. They stay with us and they're progressing. Somebody asked, is there a prep book for a placement exam? There's not, but we have a couple. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was answering that while you were talking about that.
Yeah.
I did also want to say that, yes, I did not mention that 80% of our students from last year's graduating class finished with a college degree or certificate in addition to their high school diploma. I will tell you that I have been at this school for what is now 5 years for me. And I came in as an assistant principal originally and then moved into this principalship. We have tweaked our program for the 9th grade academy every year in the first 4 years. We did not make any changes to it this year because we have a very well-oiled machine at this point. I will tell you that, yes, it's a commitment by you and your student, but there is one thing that we do really, really well. And what we do really well is prepare your kids to be successful in college coursework and complete a degree or certificate while managing their high school diploma. We do that very well. And we do have a system to what we're doing and what we're building. One of the things that Mr. Krause had just talked about was being successful in college classes, that will come with adversity as well. If any of you all have been to college, you know that you're not going to love every single instructor. You're not going to love every single course that you take. And sometimes you're going to get a C or a D in a class that was really, really difficult. What we like to do is work on academic habits that make your students successful. That is the number one thing. You cannot pass a college class without doing homework. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I will tell you that if you don't do homework, you will not pass a college class. Okay. If you do not intentionally carve out time to work on your college coursework, you will not pass your college course. You will take a class when you're with your first college course in second semester, you will take a class that gives you 45 minutes every single day to work on just college. That 45 minutes is not going to be enough for you to be successful in that class. There is going to be a time commitment by you as a student where you have to drive that. And it is a discipline. It's like going to the gym. Nobody really wants to do it, but we do it because we want to improve our health. We want to meet certain goals, right? So academic habits are going to be our number one thing when we talk about whether students are successful in class. And those academic habits are, mainly we focus on time management. We talk about prioritizing, and we talk about organizational skills. So those are really three things that if you have those traits and characteristics right now, managing college is really easy regardless of where you are academically. If you have good academic habits, you can be successful in college.
A couple people have asked about the summer courses that are available. And so because Ms. Cavazos keeps saying if you get an A or B. So the vast majority of our students do get an A or B in their first class, which is second semester of their freshman year. But that summer term, if you get an A or B, you're welcome to take 2 classes. We really, and I'm working on crunching data right now about online versus face-to-face. Pre-pandemic, we really encouraged people to do face-to-face classes because it was, students did better and it was more of the college experience. I think we have learned through post-pandemic that some students do better with the online. I'm really trying to crunch numbers and make a data informed decision about that. However, with summer, especially if you're traveling, we will make considerations for online classes. And students are allowed to use their phones at lunch. Students are allowed to eat together. The 10th through 12th graders they're not really on campus during lunchtime, the upper school. So the 9th graders really kind of take over the multi-purpose room and the kind of lounge area right there. And Ms. Cavazos and I are out there doing duty and having conversations with the 9th graders. That's where we really get to know them. But you guys are free to eat wherever you want, and you're allowed to be on your phone at lunch. However, we have a very strict no phone policy during class. I have worked at schools where that's a major issue. I can tell you can walk into any of our classes and we do not have cell phones out. And that is that's a hill that we are willing to die on.
It's a hill I'm willing to die on. No cell phones during class. And I'll make it very, very clear during boot camp as well.
Yeah.
Are there any lockers? There are not lockers, but this kind of goes hand in hand with the next question. What is the class size? Most of our class sizes are going to be between 18 and 22. And so we don't have materials that we normally send you home with, or if we do, we send it home once. So my biology teacher I know has a class set in class and then sends home the book at the beginning of the semester and it comes back at the end. So you're not carrying your book back and forth home. So we don't have lockers. Again, we're one-to-one device as APS has been for the last several years since the pandemic. But everything's going to be accessible on Google Classroom too. A lot of the textbooks come with online access as well. So I know some of our teachers use the online book. Again, like I said, my biology teacher sends it home one time at the beginning of the semester. It comes back at the end. My Algebra 1 teacher uses the online platform, so everything is accessible through her Google Classroom. So no lockers, but you really shouldn't be carrying stuff back and forth. And then I don't know if you had an opportunity to come to our open house in the AC building, you will see that your classrooms, all 5 of them, are like within, I don't know, 100 feet of each other. So door to door is like maybe 3 to 5 steps. And so there really is not a lot of movement. And I know that at traditional high schools, there's sometimes going to be places where you're taking the full 7 minutes or 8 minutes that they give you for passing period to get to class. We give you 5-minute passing periods. And in all honesty, if you can't get to a classroom that is 4 feet away in 5 minutes, I'm questioning a lot of things about your time management.
Well, and I will say that we do have a few lockers if you have a medical condition. We share those with NACA. Sorry, someone's trying to join the call. I am not good with these Zoom, Google Meet. I get too distracted by all the stuff going on. Sorry.
I think you're just a man, and multitasking is difficult.
That's very true. Somebody asked, are you going to have homework over summer? Yes, all college classes you can expect homework, and that's a definite something you need to be ready for. And I don't want to undersell that at all. We will go over all of the course materials, binders, and notebooks during boot camp. So your teachers will tell you exactly what you need. Teaching ratio, this has kind of come up. I'd say 9th grade, the average class size is probably about like 23. I'd say on average. And then as we move up to 10th, 11th, and 12th, just given the schedule, because students are taking a lot of classes at CNM during the day, it probably drops down to about 20 to 1 for the 10th through 12th.
There's some questions about the AccuPlacer. Matt, if you'll answer that one, I'm going to go ahead and take on a couple of just like what is on the placement exam.
Sure. So there's 2 AccuPlacers that students will take. One is reading and one is math. So we will give those during the 9th grade orientation. We have 2 classes that we will continuous 9th grade, where you'll continuously take the AccuPlacer and work on skills to improve that. So we have in the comm skills class, first semester, you'll take the AccuPlacer multiple times, and that's actually taught by a math instructor, the communication. She works for us, but then she also teaches at CNM. Then we have a humanities class second semester. Those are both electives, and you kind of work on your reading skills through there. I don't want the AccuPlacer to be anything that really stresses people out. We want everyone to do as well as they can, but that's something you can continuously take. And then the way CNM works, so the placement test is very important for like starting off, but then as long as you're having success at CNM, that will also open, like passing courses will also open unlocked doors in the same way that the test results do. We on 9th grade, someone asked about field trips. Man, if you like field trips, you're in the right place. Our 9th graders this year took 9 different field trips. Part of that is because you guys don't have a ton of breaks. We want to get you guys some out of the ordinary experiences. Yeah, I'd say, is there a lot of homework? If you're someone who doesn't like doing homework, we're probably not the right school for you. I'm just being real with you. Our 9th graders, our 9th grade teachers, a lot of them, you can do the work during class. Like I'd say about 80, and Ms. Cabasas, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd say with like our CCHS work, especially 9th grade, you can probably do about 80% of it during the day. But you have to commit to doing homework. In the college class, they say for every college class, you can expect 3 hours of up to 3 hours of work in addition to that class, those 2 hours. So yeah, this is definitely something that in order to get a high school and a college degree at once, you can't do that by just showing up and smiling and having a good attitude. You also got to put the work in at home. So I want to be really clear on that. If students don't pass, I know we're kind of tag team in this. If students don't pass, if you don't graduate, if you don't move with your cohort, so if you're a reclassified 9th grader, you can't stay at our school. It's part of our MOU. We cannot have students retaking classes and taking college classes. And that's why we offer so much support and have supports with students throughout the year. And then also, if you get an academic probation at CNM, so you have below a 2.0 at CNM, more than 3 semesters, you can be placed on academic probation there at CNM as well. And then you would also have to look at another school. But it's not like that would just come as a surprise. The students who get to that point usually have, I'd say on average, 3 meetings with their family and Ms. Cavazos and I, where we're really trying to troubleshoot that beforehand.
There was a question about how can we help them stay on track? Is there a parent communication or a portal? So I will say that all of APS uses what they call as student view and parent view. Those are the different quote unquote portals. And then you'll have access to all of their classes via that, as well as like Classroom, Google Classrooms. What I will say is that there is no such portal with college coursework. So while we try to monitor college coursework, that's again where the communication between you as a parent and your student really comes into play, because unless your student is self-advocating, again, a good academic habit, self-advocates and comes to us to say they're struggling with a class, we can't intervene and help them. We have no idea that they're struggling. Nobody at the college class is going to tell me, hey, this student isn't attending. They will simply just drop the student from the class. They may reach out to our academic coach to say, hey, this student hasn't passed one of the 3 math tests we're going to take this semester. You guys might really want to do something. That is rare. Okay. So a lot of that is on the student. So we have a lot of supports built into our day. We have a CNM lab. We have advisory where teachers are checking in on these things. Mr. Kraus and I both get really involved in the intervention part of like going through students' college classwork, but we don't know if they're struggling if they don't tell us. So that is also part of being a college student. There is no portal that you can look at as a parent to see how your student is doing in college coursework. It just simply shows up on their transcript at the end of the term.
Well, I do want to mention the majority of students will take first-year experience at CNM the second semester of their 9th grade year. And that's just a great, all of the classes that the students will take, their first courses, are just great introductory classes. So we don't throw people into the deep end. And that class is taught with one of our teachers facilitating. So we don't just throw people in the deep end. It's a gradual process for the college part. If a student fails, how will enter traditional high school? Will they be in the same grade? Yeah, if a student's reclassified, you'd have to retake some classes over summer school, and then you would take your transcript to the regular high school, and they would do a transcript review and see what they can do to get you back on track.
Matt, do you want to put in your information in the chat and I can address this last question of counselors? Yes, we do have 2 full-time counselors on our campus. We have Yesenia Beltran, who is just our general counselor. And then we have Miss Danielle Thrush, who is our college and career counselor. Both of them are there full-time Monday through Friday throughout the day.
All right.
Next,
so,
go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the chat, guys. So this is a link to our form. So the next step from here, and I really ask everyone to open this up. You do not need to fill this out now, but I ask that you
bookmark
this. I will also send this out. Somebody asked if I could send out the documents that we sent. That we were talking about. I will send those out along with those form tomorrow via an email. I asked you guys to think about this before you fill this form out, but this is your commitment to us after you've heard all this information. So that's the next step. Okay. After we start to fill up our list of who's coming and who's not, we will then enter your information through a transfer portal, a school of choice transfer portal. So that will secure your spot at our school. And then we'll be following up with just At that point, you would just register like you do every year if you're an APS student. We have a registrar who can help you guys. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I will continue communicating with you all throughout the spring. Just the next step is this form. We need you guys to commit this form and let us know if you're coming, if you're not. I will tell you guys, we had 150 people apply to this school. And so the day that I sent out the mass email to everybody, I got a ton of people like, oh my gosh, that's so great. Thank you so much. And then I got a ton of, oh man, like I'm so disappointed. Is there anything we can do? And those people go on a wait list. And so if this is not for you, I want to give this opportunity to people that that this is something that they really want to do. So we ask that you guys, and I'll put this in the form too. The commitment form is due by March 22nd. So it gives you guys a little bit of time. And then if we haven't heard from you by March 22nd, I will ask our secretaries to give you a call and give you a reminder. And we'll probably give you another 24 hours. And if we still haven't heard from you, we're just going to move on to the next person. But I do ask as a courtesy, let us know if this is something you are still interested in or not. Advisory is not optional. It's not optional at any school that I know of. But yes, it's not the every day after school like it's stated there, but it's definitely a part of what we call college persistence. And in order for us to get you guys to the finish line, those are important opportunities for us as a staff to make sure everybody is on the right track. So again, the only form right now I need from you guys is the commitment form. I will then work with our team to put you into the transfer portal. So whatever homeschool you were supposed to be in will get kicked back to us. And then we'll go from there. And I will keep an eye out for emails as we go, because once you've committed and you're coming here, I will keep emailing you about next step. Yeah, don't worry about binders or notebooks. We'll cover that in orientation in August.
Thank you all for your time. I know it's a commitment to be here as well. So I appreciate the amount of people who joined, and it makes it a lot easier for all of us. So thank you so much for taking the time.
We have another meeting for the upper school. So we're going to go ahead and close this guy out. But you guys all have my email because I'm the one who sent you this link. So please shoot me emails if you need further information, okay? Yeah, the mandatory orientation is, we'll send that out. That'll probably be the first week of August. We just got the calendar approved, so we haven't finalized those dates yet, but that will be coming.
Thank you all. We appreciate your time. Have a good evening and a good rest of the week.